Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Got a question in here from one of our viewers. This is from Kifley, is how they signed off. So this is an email came in, says, "Hello Matt, which is the best prime lens for the Nikon D5500?" So we're talking about the D55 with the full vari-angle LCD, one of the best options for Nikon video. Well, the Nikon D7500 is probably one of the best right now, but good camera from Nikon. I like that little camera. 35mm f1.8G, 50mm f1.8G, 85mm f1.8G, or is there any other options? So he's asking between the 35, the 50, and the 85, all the f1.8Gs, not f1.4s, which of the mentioned lenses are sharper and give good bokeh? So that's the question. Thank you for your question. Now, bear in mind, if you're looking at the Gs, and he hasn't said the DX on any of these, so the 85 and the 50 are definitely full frame, but I'm assuming you're talking about the 35 f1.8G, because that's what you said, not the DX lens. The 55 is a crop sensor, so all of these lenses are going to be 1.5 multipliers. So your 35 is going to be closer to 50, 55, somewhere in there. Your 50 becomes a 75, which is my favorite because I like the 50 on a DX, on like the D5500, becomes a 75, which is very, very close to an 85mm, our traditional portrait lens. So the field of view of a 50 on a DX sensor is 75mm. So, and then the 85, while I love that lens, just bear in mind that's longer. It's around a 130. I don't have my calculator right here, and my brain's not working today for math that well, for that exact number. So, you know, well, what is it? Half of 85 is 42.5, so it's a 127 or something like that. So yeah, close to 130. So just be aware that that's the field of view you're going to get on a D5500. On full frame, they're going to be what they say they are, but you have to add the multiplier for your field of view. With that said, 35, bokeh is a function of the quality of the out of focus area in an image. So if you're shooting at f1.8, the iris and how many blades it has is going to give you a certain quality of bokeh, and some lenses are better than others. I point this out because don't be confusing that with depth of field. Depth of field is just the the amount that's in focus at a given aperture. So wide open, let's say the 85 at a certain distance, you may have a foot in focus, 12 inches. So you're focusing on X point, you got 6 inches behind and 6 inches in front. Everything behind that is out of focus. The reason I bring this point up is because, first of all, the 35, a wider lens is going to have less, it's going to innately have a not as much shallow depth of field ability, because the wider the lens, the more is in focus. So don't confuse bokeh, which is the quality of the out of focus area, with how much out of focus you can get. And the reason I bring that up is because it's going to be easier or more evident on the 50 and the 85 to get the shallower depth of field. And as far as quality of bokeh, I don't think that there's any difference. If there is, we're picking at nitpicks, picking at hairs, splitting hairs between the 35, the 50, and the 85. I think they're all very good quality bokeh, but you will more easily be able to get shallower depth of field on the 85 because it's longer, and you'll also get better compression. The 50 will give you, conversely, better than the 35, and the 35 will be your least shallow, the hardest to get that shallow depth of field. So, again, bokeh, probably no difference. That's the quality of the out of focus area. The ability to get shallow depth of field and more out of focus area, in other words, subject isolation if you want to shoot portraits, you're going to see that it's going to be easier to do on the 85, and the 50 does it quite well. The 35 will be your least easiest to get that look, if that's what you're looking for. So, my favorite for DX, for the D5500, is a 50 f1.8G for a few reasons. First of all, the price. It's only a couple $100. Fantastic deal to get a very sharp, very fast lens. And because it is a 50, it gives you equivalent to a 75, but you can also zoom out with your feet, and you could shoot with a 50 a lot of stuff. If you go to an 85 and you're closer to a 130 field of view, you're getting into telephoto, so you're not going to be able to get up close very well. So in other words, you'd have to back up a lot. So the 50 is more versatile in my opinion, unless you really want the longer telephoto. And the 35, to me, while some people like them, and maybe for street photography might be a better choice, is too wide. I really like the 50s. So you kind of have to decide what your shooting preference is, what you're shooting. I mean, they're all going to give you a better ability to capture low light, to shoot in low light. But for me, the 50 is the sweet spot for all the reasons I just outlined. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Is the 50 the way you would go? Do you prefer the 35? Do you even prefer a longer 85 on a DX body like that? Let's help out Kifley. Thanks for your question. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.